Can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me now? Really? Oh, that's interesting. Ah, you guys can hear me now. I guess my Amazon stream went offline though, so hold on a second. It like stayed on for like 5 seconds. And what was weird, here's what was weird. What was weird was that, so on Amazon, and I can just show it to you. So on Amazon, you have to go through and you have to like put your products, the products that you're going to be doing, right? Found every product for Vaesen except the core book. And I know it's on there because I went on my desktop and I looked for it. But for Amazon Live, you have to go through the mobile app. I really dislike this. Really don't like this. I don't like that you have to go through this mobile app. Oh, horrible, dude. This is just like it's just horrible. You would think a company with that amount of money would have like a better system. Good grief. And I can't, I mean, almost every single product except the core book. I don't get it, dude. This stuff just seems silly to me, but it is what it is. Let me try to do this one more time because it says it wasn't receiving a signal, a video signal. I don't know. We got a lot. I have just about everything for this game. If I actually I do have everything for this game. Um, I don't think there's anything that I don't have for this game. Oh, I forgot what I got. Okay. I forgot what I forgot to I forgot to do. I had it on the wrong camera. Oh boy. All right. So let me this should be good right here. Ah, there it is. All right. Well, you live and learn. Well, welcome folks. Thanks for coming along here today. We've got a lot to go through because again, this is you guys chose it. You chose it. So this was the game out of the games that I gave that you guys wanted. And then, and just for those before we get on Amazon here, so I can say this directly. So if you are part of the Elite Squad newsletter, then you are able now to vote for next month's monthly live stream. Got 4 games in there that you can go, and if you haven't checked your email, then go ahead, check your email. Let me make sure this is on. And it is okay. Good. And it's taking a good minute for this Amazon one to come on through. Normally doesn't take that long, so not real sure what's going on here. See, we got external camera. There might be a good possibility when we might not be able to do this today. want to know something? We might just do this on YouTube today. I thought I was going to do this for Amazon, but we might just do this on YouTube today. It's because I just don't feel like going through the problems. So it'll be what it will be, y'all. Welcome aboard. And if you can hear me, great. We are going to get started with this today. We're doing a Vaesen showcase, and that means we're going to show a whole lot of stuff for the game Vaesen. I got a pile of stuff over here, and I got a couple of things over here. I'm going to try a new camera too. So we're going to see what this looks like also. This kind of like an experiment. Only a handful of these live streams. I think this is my fifth, actually. So literally handful. I think this is my fifth live stream that I have. So I want to go ahead and get started today. Now, let me see who we got in the comments here. Um, and let me answer any questions. It says, does Vaesen use the same system as Dragonbane RPG? Now, I have Dragonbane. I haven't read Dragonbane because, you know, brand, but I'm pretty sure it's the Year Zero engine, which is the same system. What I do like about Dragonbane, two words, the duck. That duck looks dope. That assassin duck looks great. Oh, that guy's art is just cool. But I'm pretty sure that Dragonbane has the same Year Zero engine, which is for a lot of their games. There are a couple of games that do not operate off of the Year Zero engine. Uh, Blade Runner, that's one game that doesn't operate off the Year Zero engine. What's another one? Into the Odd doesn't operate off of the Year Zero engine. I don't think any of their board games operate off of the Year Zero engine. So they do have some, but some of their kind of like flagship games, Alien, Dragonbane, Tales from the Loop, Vaesen, these all work off of the Year Zero engine. And let's talk about that. Let's look at that right now. So I'm going to again, I'm experimenting today. So, you know, we're gonna see what we can see. But I got this right here. I'm going to turn on a camera. I got this other camera, and it is like a really it's a close camera. Like it actually covers my whole desk type of deal. Oh, hold on. Put this over here. There we go. There we go. And I am going to activate this camera. There we are. And let me see here. It's doing some things. Chicken wing. Okay. So this is my other camera, my new camera. Doesn't seem like the what you call though. It doesn't seem like the if you can go over here, it's over here. So you guys can actually see closer with the stuff that I have. And I'm gonna try to turn this a little bit here. So we got the map and all the rest of this stuff too, and we'll take a look at that in a second. And when we want to go ahead and do our DOS, we will go ahead and do that. But let's first go back here. So let's come off of here. And let's first look at the bad boy right here. So let's look at the and I think this is the Vaesen core book. I love the way this thing feels. Like I I don't know what it is. I'm not into the glossy stuff. I'm just really not into the glossy stuff. Like I got a lot of games and I got glossy pages, semi-glossy pages, whatever. And I've got Alien. Alien is semi-glossy. Uh just I don't know, man. It wasn't I don't like it. It's got the matte finish for these pages. Maybe it's because it just fits this game perfect. Probably could be because it just fits this game perfectly. So you got right here an intro, and then you go into Vaesen. So let me get a show of hands for everybody who's in the chat at the moment. How many of you guys are familiar with the game Vaesen beyond just that it exists? Like you played it, or you're familiar with its system, or anything like that? Let me know. So I got one. And just to answer your question, Luke, as we get going here, yes, you just increase skills. There's no leveling, which never really been a I've never really been a big fan of, to be honest. Never played, but want to. I will tell you, you're in for a treat. This game. Okay, so for those of you who have been on the channel and you watch, you guys know this game just took the number three place of my top three favorite games of all time. And that's a feat. I am that's a feat. Yeah, I was reading this last night, just kind of going over stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just this game beats me. I mean, I'm reading, and it just beats me, man. I adore this game. So if you're into this kind of stuff, or you could be into this kind of stuff, and we'll go over how some of this works if you haven't seen like my character creation video and things like that, which will be down in the description after this live play. I think I forgot to put it in there, but it'll be after this live play. Um, so let that people bought the books, never played. Okay. So well, let's go ahead and let's get to the lore. Let's get to the lore first. So the lore on this is that this is kind of a 18th, 19th, maybe 18th, 19th century, somewhere in there type of game. And this is set in Nordic areas. Now we're going to be going through another expansion that sets it in someplace else, but in the core book, it's the Nordic area. So we're talking about Norway, Finland, Sweden, of course, because you that's where Free League is. But it's Norway. It's really more of the Norway and uh, Finland, and all that type of area. All right. So what you come in as a player is somebody who has just received what is called the sight. And the sight allows people to see Vaesen. Because the way that they describe the lore, it's kind of like Vaesen are those is kind of like in another dimension, another area. Normal people don't see them, but maybe they get a glimpse of them out of their peripheral vision. That shadow that you see, and you turn around and then there's nothing there. Well, it's kind of in this dimension that those who have the sight, when they turn around, they actually see them. So it's not like just this shadow or this presence or maybe something that's felt. Them, they know they exist. And what happens is that these people go through some traumatic events. So it's kind of similar to the X-Men, right? When you're a mutant, some kind of stressful event happens, your powers manifest. Same thing with Vaesen, except you just get sight. You can see Vaesen. Now, um, how many of you are familiar with the television program Grimm? Let me see a show of hands in the chat. Not familiar with Lovecraft, but okay. So if you are familiar with the television show, it was on Fox for what was it, 5 seasons, 6 seasons? Um, that's what Vaesen is, except that's German. This is the Swedish way of saying it. In Grimm, they called him what? Wesen. Now, my wife is German, so she understood that right away. And I was watching Grimm like 2 months ago, and I was actually just going through the channels, and I was like, Wesen. Wait, they're the same thing. So they're the same thing. So if you've ever seen that show, same thing. Grimm has the sight and a little bit more. So you can think of it kind of in those terms. You now have the sight. Because in Grimm, they would, the Wesen would trip out because, they could be seen. You could see me? Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're Grimm, blah, blah, blah. So with Vaesen, the game, it's more that you can see them. It's not necessarily that they're afraid of you. I will keep it 100. Um, Now this is a game of mystery, right? So you have to be into that. If you, I'm going to tell you this from the onset. If you go on with the mindset, as some people do in some tabletop RPGs, where this is basically what they promote in the game, in different strokes for different folks. I'm going to tell you right now, if you go in thinking that you're going to go and beat up on a whole bunch of Vaesen, because once you solve a problem with a hammer, every solution looks like it needs to be solved with a hammer type of deal. If you do that in Vaesen, you will die. There's some Vaesen that is the worst thing you could possibly do. And the idea here is like it's a double mystery. All right. First mystery is to find out what Vaesen may be behind this mystery that you're going through. We'll go through those in a second. They're called the adventures or missions or however they call them mysteries, right? What type of Vaesen is this? So you have to figure that out first. But there's another mystery that you have to figure out also. How do you defeat it? Because every Vaesen is not the same. So unless you have faced this Vaesen before, you are going to have to use your brains on how to defeat this. Very cool. So you have to be in that kind of thing. Sometimes, yeah, you're gonna have to battle Vaesen. Sometimes that's true, but some of this is there's some, and I'm thinking of one in particular. I'm not going to tell you which one it is because if you go out and grab the game, then you know what I'm talking about. But there's one in particular I'm thinking about that if you do that, it's a wrap. It's just the worst thing that you could possibly do. So what you want to do, and here's another thing. Um, you're just a normal person. There's no different races or things like that. All human. You just have different skills that you focus on. We'll get to archetypes here in a second. So let's go ahead here, and I'm going to switch to my new cam and let you guys let me know if you can see everything here. I took my dice out because I was playing another game. I'm going to put it over here. We're going to go with right here, folks. That's some dice. And let me switch it back for you so you can see it a little bit better. There you are, right there. Some Vaesen dice. So we're going to go ahead and let me take these out so you guys can kind of see them. Now, you can get this set, but you normally are going to need more than this because even first starting out, if you have one that has 7, then you're actually going to need more than this. Um, is this convenient to have? Kind of, sort of. When you're only looking for a symbol and that's it, then it's kind of convenient to have these. So this is how this works. Let's say I have an ability and it's a pool of 6 dice, which is basically having your skill and your ability and then your skill. We'll get to that in a second. All you do is you roll a pool of dice and you're looking for this right here, right? You're looking for one of these. You get one of those, you succeeded. That's it. That's all you need. One, you succeeded. Unless the GM says you're gonna need 2. Yes, there are situations when you need 2, and there's some pretty situations where you just might need 3, right? And what you'll do is if you're familiar with the Year Zero engine, it's that if I needed 3 and I got 2 on my first roll, then obviously I'm gonna push the roll to try to get this third one. But if I push a roll, I'm gonna get a condition. So automatically you're gonna get a condition. And let's say, oof, well, I failed and I got a condition. It's a rough game, by the way. So it's not, you can link tall buildings in a single bound type of deal. It is, well, you know, you make it great. If not, yeah, things could go bad. But that's the basic mechanic. That's the basic year zero engine. Roll a pool of six-sided dice. If you get a six or a special symbol, if you got the special dice, you succeeded normally. In Vaesen, like I said, sometimes you might need two, possibly on the roughest ones, three. You might need three. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat here. Uh, sounds similar to Alien. Yep. Did Alien come out first or did Fast? Well, it doesn't matter because this is their kind of proprietary engine, the Year Zero engine. They have it in a lot. They have it in Mutant Year Zero. They have it in Alien. They have it in Vaesen. They have it in Tales from the Loop. They have it in the new Electric State. I mean, this is their engine. This is what they use in the vast majority of the game. I'm pretty sure they have it in Coriolis too. I have Coriolis. I'm pretty positive they have it in Coriolis too. It's another game by them that I can have. I have a lot of games from them. A lot of games by Free League Publishing. All right, let's go ahead and let's keep this. So that's it. So you know the core mechanic. Once you know that, then you basically know how to create your character. Uh, in a nutshell, you basically will know how to create your character because you'll know, which one that you would want a pool of dice in. Now have, and you have, these different archetypes that you can be. So, I mean, if you want to call them a class, you can, I guess. Um, Pretty much. Let's go through. Let's take a look at those real quick. All right. Um, So let's look at these archetypes, and maybe I'll go ahead and I'm just gonna experiment here just to see if you guys could see this a little bit better. I'm gonna put my book over here, and we're gonna try to look at it with this other camera. I love experiment. You guys can't really see it. This thing doesn't really have a lot of, even though I got light flooding in all over the place. You can't really see it that well. Yeah, okay. Well, we go back here. I experimented. I tried. We'll keep going. So there are basically 12 skills, right? And there are four categories. There's physique, there is precision, there is logic, and there is empathy. So the ones under physique are agility, close combat, and force. Force would be like your strength. You have under precision, medicine, range combat, and stealth. All right. You have under logic, investigation, learning, and vigilance. And then you have under empathy, inspiration, manipulation, and observation. Think of observation more like discernment, maybe even intuition. It's probably a better way to say it. Um, Vigilance is when you're actively looking for something. Um, or no, not actively looking for something. Vigilance is when you're not actively looking for something, but you may sense something. It's like your senses. Investigation is when you're actively looking for something. All right. So you create your character, and let me go to the academic in here. So you have this one is an academic. So obviously their main attribute is going to be logic. Now here's the thing with your attributes. When like creating your character, you can't start with less than two and no more than four, unless it's your main attribute. It's under your main attribute or under your main skill. Your main skill, you can start off at uh, your main skill and attribute, actually. You can start off higher than normal. I think it's like one higher than normal. So you have an academic, which is basically that's self-explanatory, I hope. Um, you have kind of like these suggestions. These are suggestions for you to go through. So each one, every archetype have these suggestions. So the first one is a name, and they're going to give you Nordic names here. So those that are, Norway, finish and something, but I'm going to show you something here real quick. And I'm going to switch it up for you. So you guys, because this is what I use. It is an app, and it's called Fang. Fantasy Name Generator is the acronym, right? And so this is what you have. This is what it looks like right here, right? And what you could do is you can go, I'm going to go back here. You can go and you can pick the game. Hopefully you can see this. So you can pick the game that you want. You have Starfinder, Pathfinder, uh, World of Warcraft. And then at the very bottom here is human. So you just click on human, and what you'll get is human at the top, and then the country. Hopefully you can see this. Let me put it a little bit closer. So that one, it starts in Africa, and it's alphabetical order. So if I clicked on that, you get a whole list of them. I can just go to Norway if I wanted a Norwegian. And that is kind of Norwegian name right there. Now you can do Finland. I think it has Finnish and it has Swedish as well. So let me see. It doesn't have Finnish, so that one you can't pick, but it does have Swedish, right? Hey, there it is. There it is right there. Now, if you want to change that up, randomize it, you can change it, hit that dice. And it'll go ahead and show you Mateo Person. It's kind of a cool name right there. No, shoot, I think I'm going to keep that one. That's kind of cool. Okay, so yeah, so you can either go to something like that, or if you have a name in mind, or you can use the one that is actually suggested on the inside of the archetype. So, like for this academic, you have for the first name, for Astrid, Elin Isaac. Isaac is Jewish. Anyway, Lewis and Praskovia. See, that sounds Russian. Okay. And then they have last name Grug, Gregorius, and Tealtinen. Tealtinen? Whoa. Thanks. Okay. Free League has room at Green Hole in Madison. They do a system crossover. I'm sorry, man. Playing Vaesen is a lot. Vaesen is the bomb. You, I don't know if some of you guys might be new, but I have an entire series that I'm doing solo called Suffer Not a Witch, and it's in Vaesen for my character, Kello who's a witch hunter. That's not an archetype in here. It's an extra archetype that I bought off of DRIVE-THRU RPG, and I'm just was digging it. Um, See, I do like freely art and production values. Unfortunately, cannot afford to buy all their games. Well, I mean, obviously, I'm in a kind of I'm in a blessed position in this regard because number one, I make this content. Number two, they just send me stuff. Like after a certain point, and once they see, and this is for all you content creators out there, after a certain point, once they see your content, once they see that you're gaining some traction, that you're making the content, that you're putting it out on a regular basis, they'll just send it to you. Like sometimes I'll ask for it, and sometimes I don't. You know, this stuff they send me, never asked for it. Uh, Never asked for Tales from the Loop. I got it, just about everything for it though. Send it to me. Never asked for it. Never was a big, never was big into playing kids. Uh, I probably will experiment with it someday, but never was really into that. So you got academic. Let me get back to the game here. So you have your name, then you have your motivation. Like what motivates your character to do what they're doing in terms of Vaesen. So it says charting the unknown or proving the critics wrong. This is for just for academic or becoming famous. Now, you do not have to choose from these. If you got one that's your own, again, these are just suggestions. Then they have trauma. So this was the thing that you went through that gave you the sight, this traumatic event. I'll read the examples here on this one. The tear turned into a rat. Of the tear is a Vaesen. Raised by the magic of a mermaid. Or watch your partner being torn apart by a giant. That's traumatic. Dang, run. That's kind of one of those things you will not forget. Then everyone has a dark secret. That's another thing too. I'll give you this one. Addicted to drugs. It's the thing. And you gotta realize, even back then, it was still a thing. Stole or falsified documents to get research results. Ooh, oh, for an academic, I'd probably choose that one. Hunted by Vaesen. Yeah, everybody is kind of boring. And then you have relationships. So you choose a relationship between your characters. So this is between player characters. So a tool for my purpose. Okay, a psychopath. I cannot stay calm in your presence, or a good friend, or something else. Again, all of these are just suggestions. So their main attribute is logic. Their main skill is learning. Okay, so they can get to take that one to five. Start off with. Their talents are bookworm, erudite, and knowledge is reassuring. You can only pick one of those to start, and then you can add those later on if you're going to be running a campaign. Resources, that's just resources, money, things like that. Kind of average for an academic. And then equipment, a book collection or a map book, writing utensils, liquor, or a slide rule. Ah, yeah. Especially if you never got over that traumatic event. So that's a doctor, right? So let's move on here with the next one, which is, or that's not a doctor, that's an academic. This is a doctor. Check out old girl here. Disturbing. Let me tell you why it's disturbing. Y'all. Uh yeah, I'm digging this right here. This is not so good. And the way that she's got her arms like this. She looks more like a butcher. She does a doctor. It's a little disturbing right there. I still like it, right? But you can be a doctor. So obviously your main skill is going to be medicine, and your main attribute is going to be logic. Some of the talents: army medic or chief physician or emergency medicine. Your equipment is going to be like a doctor's bag with medical equipment. Here we go with liquor or fine wine again. Uh, Even though that could actually be a sedative that they use for people, depend on how you're going to play it. And a weak horse or strong poison. Poison. That's interesting. So a doctor is another one of the archetypes here. When we move on to the next one, we get a hunter. Oh, a cultist. Well, that's a little bit before. Another one is a hunter. So I don't know if I did that out of turn here, but another, this is an occultist. So main attribute is going to be precision. Main skill is stealth. Magic tricks, medium, striking fear. They don't have a whole lot of money. You have things like crystal ball, powdered stag's horn, dagger, or cooking pot. And you have these things called items of power in the game. I don't know if we'll get to that, but I want to try to get through these rather quickly. You have an officer, so somebody who used to be in the military. Obviously, their main one's going to be precision, and their main skill is ranged combat. Things like battle hardened gentleman and tactician are their talents that you can choose from. Again, you can only choose one when you first start. Resources, not bad. Actually, 3 to 7. They have an actual resource table, and I'll see if we can get on that later. Equipment, a rifle or a pistol. Some equipment they have start off with makes total sense. Compass or a bayonet, and map book or a saber. All right. So the next one, it's a priest. It's a priest. Now I actually am playing a solo campaign, and I have an Anglican priest. Their main attribute is empathy, with observation being their main skill. They have the talents of absolution, blessing, and confessor, and resources are average. And they have equipment, musical instrument, or fine wines, writing utensils, holy water, or Bible. That Holy Bible is an item of power. If you're gonna play a priest, pick the Holy Bible. It's an item of power. I just love that, by the way. But y'all know me. Y'all know me, right? Okay. Let me look at you guys and see what you guys talking about. Not Penny Free League has the prettiest books in RPGs. I agree. I don't know why. I just think there's something It's like how they create their books, how they create their products. This really fits the game. So they really think about, hey, is this going to be like for Vaesen, it's all matte finish and it's not glossy, right? So it kind of fits. It fits the time period and just it's just like perfect for aliens. That's not the same. Semi-glossy pages on the inside, on the outside, or actually glossy pages on the inside, semi-glossy on the outside, and more of this slick sci-fi kind of feel. So they're actually thinking about this, I believe. Um, and they make good books. They're really good. Artwork is by far the best going right now, no doubt. No one else can compete. Yeah, old dude. Um, and what's this dude's name? Let me go back and see what his name is because I love his dude's art. And for this one, I think he's more into creating the game as well. Johan Egerkrans, that's his name. And he has this lesson is he has the original concept for the game. It's his baby in terms of the concept, not the rules and stuff, but the concept for Vaesen. And I dig this, really dig this. Uh, for sure, between Martin Grip, Simon Stalenhag. Simon Stalenhag got some good stuff. If you guys ain't familiar, the Electric State. That's what I'm saying. The high Indie Vassen arts, they have incredible talents. Very incredible talents. All right, going on with the next one here is you could be a private detective, so you can go Sherlock Holmes if you want to. And of course, your your dark secret is, there's a price on my head, constant adulterer, or a drug addict. Well, there's something similar with Sherlock Holmes. You got main attribute of logic and main skill of course is investigation. You can also be a servant, where your main attribute, believe it or not, is physique, and your main skill is force. And so kind of like a bodyguard, I guess, kind of sort of. I can see that. Right here, you have a vagabond, which is normally a kid of some sort. Physique is another one, but their main skill is manipulation. Right? I'm just a young kid. Please don't hurt me. Type of deal. And next one is writer. Now, there's one that I missed. Obviously, I must have, but there's one, like I told you, there's one called Hunter. And this last one is writer. Main skill, empathy, and main skill is inspiration. Main attribute is empathy. And you get like writing utensils and things like that you can start off with. Making a character is really easy. It's super simple. Probably make a character in, if you're not sitting here forever, you can probably make a character in about 20 minutes. And that's with you thinking about stuff, right? It's really easy to make a character, extremely. So again, so what you have and how you do this with um how you do this, the game itself is you do different types of tests, and you don't want to do skill tests all the time. Obviously, you want to do tests when it's necessary. You have when you put a number next to your attribute and a number next to your skill, you basically will add up those numbers, and that's your dice pool. You're gonna roll that many dice, and what you're looking for is that right there. And I'll put it up here. You're looking for that, or six if you don't have these dice. So you're looking for a six. You do one, good. If you need two, then you need two, and it's possibly in the most dire of circumstances, you're gonna need a three. The chances of you dying in Vaesen, uh, they could be pretty high. It just depends on your GM how they're running it, and if they tell you that this is the probably the best bet is to use this, not to use this, uh, because it's a rough deal, right? In this, just like in all of their other Year Zero engine stuff, if you fail at a roll and you push that roll, whether you fail at the roll or not if you fail at a roll, but if you push a roll, you're automatically going to get what's called a condition. A condition is going to be exhausted, battered, or wounded. That's a physical condition. You have mental conditions, which are going to be angry, frightened, and hopeless. You're going to apply the condition that makes the most sense. So it's not, it's not that it goes up in something. No, just apply the one that makes the most sense. You just got beat down, then obviously battered might be, or wounded might be it. If you were just draining and straining something, or you kind of went on forever with something, exhausted would be. So just pick the one that makes the most sense. They basically want you to focus on the story. So what makes the most sense in the story? Love that. They also got the chances of success here. Now you guys can't see it, but it says, okay, number of dice, one, so you have a 17% chance to succeed and a 31% chance if you push the roll, right? You're probably normally going to be in the 4, 5, 6 area in terms of the amount of dice, especially when you're first starting off. So it says here 52% to 67%. So that's from 4 to, I think it's 6 there. So yeah, 52% at 4, 60 at 5, and 67% at 6. Now you might think that's low, and it is. And kind of sort of, I mean, it's not way high up there. Nobody's coming out swinging here. So you're going to fail at stuff, right? And if you can see this, these are the difficulty, right? So a normal difficulty, you just need 1. But if something is challenging, you're going to need 2. And if it is extremely difficult, you will need 3 successes. I wouldn't try anything difficult unless you've got 6 or 7 dice or more. But sometimes you ain't got a choice. Sometimes you just kind of meander your way into a difficult situation and you got to make do, y'all. So that's, and then it'll tell you then what everything means, the talents. Now you start off with 1 talent, and then you can get if you're going to do a campaign, then you can get talents later on, right? But there is no leveling. Who out there likes leveling? I'm not a leveling guy. Getting better at skills, getting better at things like that. Um, as far as that being the leveling, okay, well, that makes sense, right? Um, the automatic leveling type stuff is kind of like, not bad. It's fun. Um, you can play as a hobo, of course. It's a vagabond. Actually, we got a couple more, but it's in another uh, expansion, right? If everyone has 3 talents, you can make up talents too, as long as you pass it by your GM. You can make up talents. Yeah. Now, let me show you this. Where is it at? Those are just like type of actions and things like that. But I want to show you the. Oh, here it is, right here. Does you see this table right here? Oh my god! But it's a D56 table, and it's all the physical critical injuries that you can get. That is a lot. Jaw injury, back injury, severed fingers. I told you, y'all, this game's kind of brutal. Not playing here. Not playing. Crushed genitals. What is going on? Oh my God. Oh, man. Oh, whoa. Caved in forehead. Oh, spinal injury. This is brutal. And then on the other side of things, not just physical injuries, but your mental critical injuries is critical. So I mean, it would have to be bad for you to get to this point. You know, uh, Detached, crushed, traumatized, furious, disgusted, paralyzed, you know, type of deal. Lightened hair. It reminds me of there was this one episode of Fringe. This guy, literally, while he's laying in the hospital bed, literally in front of their eyes, his hair gets like completely white. Trippy, man. Kind of cool. My group has been considering this game for a future campaign. This really helps. Good. I hope it helps. Um, that reminds me of the old Ice Rollmaster Critical Hits table. Yeah, but it takes a while to get here. It takes a while. So you don't get here right away. But you can get here. It again, it can depend on the situation, it depend on, the type of decisions that you make. Come on now. Think here. And again, everybody's human, right? So it's just like a skill-based game per se. You have uh you don't have, like supernatural abilities besides the sight, right? So you gotta think. You're trying to solve mysteries, and you're trying to again. It's always two mysteries, unless, of course, you have a character that's been in it for a minute, right? But you're always trying to solve two mysteries. One, what's going down here, and two, what Vaesen is doing this, or actually, um, it's still kind of two. So what's going down, what Vaesen, and how to defeat it. I guess that's three. Um, so it's always that. Sometimes you might be able to get away with trying to beat him down, but if you don't know what that Vaseline can do, it's not the first move. So let me give you a hint. Let that be your last resort, and if it's not working, um, here's a here's some advice. If it's not working and you haven't figured it out, run. That's my advice. Run. Um, All right. So there are some things, yeah, special effects. Some of these things, it does have a fear mechanic within this, because this is like I call it more of a supernatural horror type thing. There's some horrific things that some of these Vaesen do, and some horrific things that can happen to you. Um, you know, like a fear value of one, scary, a Vaesen, bloody corpse. Like if you see a Vaesen that you've never seen before, right? If you can establish at the beginning if you've seen a Vaesen before, right? So if it's a Vaesen, you probably have. Like my priest, he's only seen one Vaesen. So this is the one that he's not going to have to kind of guess what it is. You've seen a church grim. You've seen a church grim tear somebody apart. That was the trauma. But he has seen a church grim, right? And the church grim was kind of like going around his legs. If you know what a church grim is, then you know what I'm talking about. Um, but some, depending on it, fear can increase. Like a fear one, fear two, fear three. Like a fear two is terrible, a werewolf, dead children. Depends on how deep you want to go with this. Okay. Um, unbearable, a mass grave, tied up and subjected to serious violence, being buried alive. I would put that in there too. Being buried alive is awful. It's like horrible, terrifying, actually. Um, so you have a cheat sheet for medical care, poison, falling damage, things like that. So it is involved in that regard. Here you have your equipment list. Pretty cool for an equipment list here. You have a bonus that it gives. And the bonuses are simple, y'all. Simple. So it's a +1 bonus, +2 bonus, things like that. So these are simple things, simple bonuses. Um, and it's availability, right? And availability is more like, would you be able to afford it? Type of deal. Um, Now, the one thing that I didn't say at the very beginning, as far as when you make your characters, is the fact that you become part of a society. Now, this is where my other map is going to, my other camera is going to come into play here. But you actually are part of what's called the society and the headquarters of it. So here, this is supposed to be a castle right here. Let me switch this over so you guys can see the actual map that comes with the game. So this is a map of called Uppsala. I'm going to move this over here. And that does kind of look a little, let me try to move this. There we go. And let me turn this a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so let me do this. All right. So this is Uppsala. And right here is Uppsala Castle, is the Uppsala Castle, right? So this is the area, and it's actually bigger. If I can do it like this, right? So you have the Uppsala Castle here, right here. You have the University Hospital. You have floor 3 up here. You have the university. You hardly see that with my finger. Um, number 4, which is way up here, so I'm gonna have to hold it. This is Castle Gallenfruits right here. Now this is given to you, right? So this is kind of like your headquarters. This is stuff the castle is given to you. That's cool. Another cool thing about the castle is that you it comes with like basic stuff, but then, if you're playing a campaign, you can upgrade things in your castle. You add another room or something like that. So that's kind of cool. You have the cathedral, which is right here. You have the station, the central station, which is a train station. If everything is going to be happening here in Uppsala. Um, you have the Uppsala Asylum, which is down here. And you have the Botanical Garden, so you have more landmarks. That's over here. And you have Olympus, and where is that? Right here. So if you're going to be in that area, then yeah, this would be a place. Let me see something here. I don't know why I'm gonna need a light on it. Yeah, that looks better, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh well. But this is closer, isn't it? You have to do something about that light. Anyway, so you're part of the society. You get a castle. This is where you meet. This is where you get equipped. This is all this stuff right here at Uppsala Castle. Okay. Um, and like I said, you have this. What's that dude's name? The guy who was with the castle. Forgot his name though. So it gives you some lore on the castle and the society, right? How the society started, some titles within society, the society's creed, all the rest of this. Um, actually, I think I messed up. It says it's Castle. Oh, it's Castle Gillenkreuz. That's your headquarters. Okay, so it's this castle, this long castle up here. I guess that one is your headquarters, not Uppsala. I could have sworn it was Uppsala, but I guess it's Castle. I don't play. Um, Hold up a second. I'm just reading about Castle Uppsala. Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. I guess it's Castle Gambling Fruits that you get. Um. So it's real cool. It's really really cool. Now right here, this is where you can get different types of upgrades for your castle. Gymnasiums, occult archive, occult library. This is after you do a mystery. A kennel, an observatory, a weapons corridor, all the rest of this. It's really cool. And sometimes it's not something that you add on, it's something that you discover. Says how cool. I'm sorry. That is just so dope. It's a castle you get given it. You don't know what this thing is. It might have all these secret places and whatever. So cool. I feel as if I'm in a shrinking minority of TTRPG player who enjoys games that are that lethal. And I'm just gonna mention it. But the One Ring is brutal. Like battles are not gonna last long, and it's the same thing here. That's why it is so important for you to know. I can't stress this enough. If you are going to play Vaesen, I can't stress enough. It is extremely important for you to know what you are up against, right? So a good library at your headquarters, that would help, right? Or a place where you can go and, after you get these clues and trying to figure it out, a good library is crucial. So you just know how to deal with stuff. All right. Now, this section here, it just tells you about the Mythic North and Uppsala. This here is Uppsala uh, local. So let me go here. This is the local map, right? I do have another map. I'll show this to you, I think, but it's this basically. There's Norway, part of Sweden. I'm gonna say it's Finnish over here. But this is just lore of the Mythic North. This is really good if you're well, whether you're a DM or a player. It's good to know this stuff. Um, Now obviously I mean, the Vaesen are supernatural, so they have supernatural abilities. You don't, they do. Ooh, I don't want you to see that. Those are Vaesen. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give. And I'll show you one up close here in a second. Well, you remember when I was talking about those items of power? There's items of power, and then there's actually magic items in this. The items of power, right? So I know you guys probably can't see this, so let me go ahead and I'll just put it down for you, and you can make up your own if you want to. Fairy cross, silver bullet, Bible, holy water, scroll cross, scythe. That's scythe. Really? I don't understand. Okay. And then elf bill. Don't know what that is. Then you have magic items down here. The loot of the neck. The neck is a vessel. Powdered stag's horn. Spindle. Cole's eye. Ooh. A wand. So these are things that you may or may not get. It just depends on your archetype whether or not you're going to have access to any of these. Obviously, like I told you, I'm a priest. His name is Charles Kingsley, and he has this Bible, which is an item of power. Ooh, I don't want to do that. I'm trying not to give you spoilers in terms of these vaccines, so I'll try to skip this. Oh man. And we'll take a look at the pictures of them. Um, okay. So at the end of this book, I believe there are a couple of mysteries and tables and things like that. Yes. Yeah, you do. You have some tables here. You have some mystery tables to actually just, you know, make up your own mystery. Pretty dope. So you roll some tables, the invitation, who was the quest giver, um, what was the misdeed is what they call it, what happened, what's going on, you know, what is the Vaesen that is going to show up. Then you have at the very end of the book, you have different mysteries. The game is super fun. I've been playing solo and two. Like you guys have seen me with Kelobal and Demu, and then my Charles Kingsley one is more for me. It's because I love the game. And also um, that one I'm actually playing him with a couple other guys too. Just love this game. It's just so um, possibilities. The possibilities here. So again, you have this, and then I've already shown you the dice that you could buy for those. But let's look. This is the setting. I'm going to give you a setting. This is the setting that I'm usually in because I like it. Right? It's Mythic, Britain, and Ireland. This is the setting that I use. Rose House is the headquarters here, and this is where my character Charles Kingsley and all the rest. This is where he is. So this is where you will get 3 more archetypes. So let's go to archetypes real quick and let's take a look at the 3 archetypes that is in this book. So one is an athlete. So obviously the athlete is going to be uh, physique is going to be the main thing. Force also is going to be uh, their main skill. Um, you then have the entertainer, right? And again, not many. There's not many, but I just like this one. I just like this one better. Just I it's just my bad. Um, so you have athlete, you have entertainer, and you got one more, which is the socialite. These are 3 new archetypes. So that ends up being what, about 10 archetypes in total if you add it to the core book there. But it's not only that, if we go ahead and go back to the book here, you have other people that you just might run into. And I'm going to try to find it here. Okay. So see if you recognize any of these names. And these are people that these are celebrity encounters. So depending on if you're GM, we'll have these people. You'll have people like Charles Babbage, Alistair Crowley. Ever hear him? Charles Dickens, Mycroft Holmes. And then there's his brother, Sherlock Holmes. And then there's one infamous individual, Jack the Ripper. And then there's somebody else, odd fellow. His name is Dr. Henry Jekyll. Then somebody else going to Inspector Lestrade. Then a man who is very mysterious and very dangerous, Professor James Moriarty. And then there's Florence Nightingale. And these are just some of the people. I'm not doing all of them. I'm just kind of picking and choosing here. Dr. John Watson, of course. W.B. Yeats. And a writer whose name is Abraham from Stoker. I don't know. He wrote this famous kind of horror thing called Dracula, if you ever heard of him. So the society that's tied to the society that's in the core book here is the Royal Society. No, it's not that. The house, basically, I should say the headquarters. The headquarters is tied to the society that's in the core book. It's called the Rose House. So the Rose House that's what for both of mine, actually, that's the place. Actually, not for Kello. Kello is different. But the Rose House is the headquarters in London. And you do have a map also, and I'm going to try to find it here. Hold up. Well, there's that, but that's not the map. This is the map. So this is the map of London proper. Right. It's kind of hard to find things on here too, though. It really is. I've tried to do this. Just small. This map, I don't think comes with it. I don't remember. But then you have different, uh, it's different. So you're talking about Irish and British stuff, right? So you're talking, they're called red caps. I first got turned on to red caps in City of Heroes of all places. um, yeah, the Mythic Ireland, and I'm going to tell you also all of these again links down in the description, y'all. For all of this stuff. So if you want to go to Amazon, you can get it. You want to go to Noble Knights, you can get it. And you want to go to DRIVE-THRU RPG, you can get it over there as well. So links down in the description. But this is the red caps in here, just like in because I didn't know anything about them, but in City of Heroes, they're nasty. They're nasty. And they're nasty in here too. Um, so so think of all of the kind of British type Vaesen and Irish Vaesen, fairies, things like that. Yep. That is what you have here. I'm not going to show you the actual Vaesen until we get to another one of these things here. Oh, there it is. And then, so it tells you the background of the Rose House, the background of society there, people that you can meet, celebrities, gives you new Vaesen. So there's a whole bunch of Vaesen in the core book, and there's new Vaesen here that is more localized for a region. Right? And I just told you one called Red Cap. And let's go ahead and take a look at some of the best. Some of the best are just they're kind of cool. But let's go ahead and you can grab this right here. So this is the card deck for Vaesen. And within this card deck is two things. You have initiative cards. So it's this here. Oh, I have to go back here. Going back. Okay. So you have initiative cards. So 1 through 10 that you have to choose. But then you have the Vaesen. So let me pick up red caps here. Oh, red caps might not be in this one. Nope. They don't have the Vaesen for this in the card. So let me just show you one that, okay, I mentioned this one from one of the things. So let me just show you this one. So this one here is a giant, and this is what a giant looks like. Now, I know that that giant right there might look like he's a very nice giant. Don't you believe it? Um, every situation is different. So proceed with caution. Don't be fooled by that. But it has like all the different kinds of Vaesen, and the information is on the other side. So it has information on the other side about the Vaesen. So if you want actual visual representation, you're a GM, and one of these, this is one of the Vaesen. You can just take one of these cards, throw it out there, right, and just have your players able to see it, but not know about it because again, that's part of the mystery. If they don't know about it, then they have to do their due diligence and find out. Okay, what about this Vaesen? What did Vaesen do? Some background, all the rest of it. All right. So this is what I I I gravitate towards this. Anytime I want to play Vaesen, this is my go-to. The Britain Ireland. So I might use Vaesen from the core book. Or I might take these guys and they might go up north. So it just depends. You also have the Lost Mountain Saga. This is a campaign. So if you and I think the campaign is it one, two, three, four? Yeah, five. That's what I thought. It's five parts, five mysteries that are strung together, and you have different maps and everything. So if you just want to get into a campaign for your players right off the bat, you don't have the time to actually, make all these mysteries up and all the rest of that. This is and you want to play this over a period of time. This is an entire campaign, everything tied right together, right there for you. It's called the Lost Mountain Saga. This is, and it's pretty cool. It's not bad. Um, if you just like your one-offs, you have things called a Wicked Secret. And remember when I mentioned that? That's a church grim right there. And this is what my character encountered and saw the church grim tear someone apart, and then the church grim was, all around his legs like a cat, purring and stuff like that, and then it disappeared. Reapy. So a wicked secret. This is just a whole bunch of mysteries. So and I believe this is another five. No, four. So this is four mysteries within this one. Different NPCs, all the rest of that. This obviously is going to be for your DMs and stuff. And so let me kind of do it like this. So these are ones with multiple mysteries and things like that that you can go and grab. But again, this is a one-off, and this one is a campaign. And if you want more mysteries, Seasons of Mystery, right here. Four more mysteries here, full mysteries, adventures, or whatever. And you can use this. So you have a total between these two of eight mysteries, and then you have five for this campaign right here. So you have a total of 13 when it's all said and done here. So if again, you're busy, you don't have the time, you think the game's cool, um, go ahead and do this. Buy the core book and run the mystery at the back of that just to get your feet wet. So there's a mystery at the back of that. And there's also a mystery for this one right here. And I'll just put it down here. For Mythic Ireland, Britain, there are, I think, two mysteries in this one. Three. So there's three mysteries in this one. And let me check out the core book. Let's see how many. I think there's only one in this one. Um, It is. So there's only one in the core book, but you can run that. There's three in the expansion, Mythic, Britain, and Ireland. And then you have 13 more here. So if you want to try the game out, go ahead, try it out. And if you like it, man, I'm going to tell you, if you like mysteries and tension and uncomfortable and stuff like that, uh, this is going to be the game for you. I mean, this is just Doris. Like you making me want to actually go and play Charles Kingsley. Try to get off of the stream. It just there's something about this game that is just super, super fun, right? But again, you have to like mystery stuff. If your deal is going and trying to beat up everything, then number one, my channel just wouldn't be the channel. This is kind of weird. My channel probably wouldn't be the channel for you. Um, I wonder which of these three books is best for reading and inspiration. Um, are you talking about as a GM or as a player? So answer that first. Um, if well, let me go. If you're talking as a GM, um, I would go with A Wicked Secret. Cool stuff in there. Cool mysteries in there, by the way. Um, as a GM, a wicked, a wicked secret, but also just generally reading the lore on either Mythic Britain and Ireland or the core book. Either one of these, right? Um, reading the lore, their lore is really good. I mean, they really do a good job with the lore. Now, it depends on what setting that you want to go. Do you want to go up north and you want to keep it up north? Then okay, then read it from the core book. Read the lore from the core book. If you want to go down south a little bit, London and that area, then it's this. I read it. I read the lore for this, and it just really that really inspired me to just really want to play this one. I read the lore from this one too, and both of them are good. Maybe it's just because I just have a bent for, you know, Britain and Ireland. Um, as you can see, it's probably one of the more popular ones too, in terms of um, people and setting. For those of you who are playing Vaesen, are you playing? I'm curious, and this is just me just being curious. But are you playing in the original setting? So are you playing up north, or are you playing in the Mythic Britain and Ireland setting? Uh, I got one more, by the way. I got one more thing. I'll show it to you here in a second. Even I can't get my players to even if I can't get my players to try it, I think I'm going to buy the Britain and Ireland book just for ideas to steal from my usual campaign. Well, here's another thing. Number one, let me say this. This is coming up next week. This is coming up next week. All right. Play solo. This is next Tuesday's video, so you're getting a glimpse into this. Forget you don't have to play the game with other people. Y'all know this already, I know. But I'm going to tell you, play the game solo. Next week's video is going to get all in this about the benefits of playing a tabletop RPG solo. So play solo, right? If this is interesting to you, then go ahead and play the game solo, right? You can do that. You want to know why? Because Vaesen has its own solo system, right? Now it's a digital thing, and I don't have it here, but man, and I didn't even go ahead and change. Let me go ahead and I didn't even change any of these, did I? Oh well. But I'm just gonna. I just need to go through that just to make sure that I do all the stuff. Okay, I should have did that while I was doing them, right? But there it is, right there. It's called Thursday's Child, and you can get it over. You can only get it digitally, right? So you can get it over at DRIVE-THRU RPG. I don't even think you can get it at. I don't even think you can get it at Free League's website. You might be able to, but I don't. I'm pretty sure you can't. Um, but it has its own system. You're gonna need a deck of cards, and that's it. That's how they do their solo system. So you need a deck of cards, and it's a sweet solo system. I do have, if you want to see it in action, the second part of my Hello Balandemu. Again, I'll put those links after. I'll put them in the description of this after this video. You can go and look at the Akello Balandebu part 2. You can look at that video, and I use that system. So you can see how to use that system with playing cards. And those of you who've already seen it, then you already know how it works. But it's like the solo system is a couple of bucks, right? Um, it's just a couple of bucks, right? If you're interested, though, play the game solo. Have it a type again. Oh, man. I think this is a carryover of like just program thinking. To think that I'm going to buy a game and then I have to get my players into it. No, you don't. You're gonna the very same things I'm saying. I'm hearing you hearing me say here. You're gonna hear me in Tuesday's video. I'm gonna try not to give it all away, but just play the game whole campaign, or just play the game with just one or two people. I think people are just programmed in the tabletop RPG space. I'm getting ready to go on a little bit of a rant here, okay? I think that people are just kind of programmed to think that if I get a game, I have to get the rest of my players into it. But that's not the case. Did you know? I'll say this in next week's video, but did you know that playing a game solo has been around the idea, the concept? You know how long it's been around? Pretty much from the beginning. Pretty much from the beginning. Now, I'm not going to give you the six or four, or actually six really, benefits of playing a game solo and then going back to your group. You have to watch next week's video for that. But playing solo has been around for like ever. Now, the systems haven't been in place per se. Um, but the idea, like, it's actually in the Traveler books, Characters in Combat. It talks about solitaire play. The idea was already there. It's been here like forever. Again, they didn't have a system, but it's been here forever. So if you like Vaesen, if you like how this is looking, if you like, you like how the core book looks and you like all the things that are on the inside of it, you like it, or you want to get the, Mythic Britain and Ireland and go ahead, then go ahead and do it. Me and just one of my other players, we were getting into this. Played GM less per se. Me and my right hand man, we were playing this game GM-less, and now we added somebody else, and so it's three of us that are playing GM-less. I'm not running the game. I'm playing my character. Lot of fun. You don't need a whole group of people for that. I don't need anybody really. You don't need anybody, especially. Okay, here I go, folks. RPG Elite Quality number 8 is let's see if somebody's paying attention. RPG Elite Quality number 8. What is it about? Y'all don't know. Come on, son. Come on, son. What's going on? What's going on? RPG Elite Quality number 8, y'all. It's about the story, right? For an RPG Elite, when it's about the story, um, it's kind of like when you're watching a movie, right? Do you want to watch it? Do you need to watch a movie with a whole group of people, or do you want to sit down one day and watch a movie? I generally don't like watching movies with other people because they're always talking in places where I need to hear stuff and catch things and all the rest of that. So that's what I like watching them by myself. But sometimes it's cool when you go with the right people. Is this starting to sound familiar? It should start to sound familiar. But um, yeah, you can play the solo and it's super fun. It's so fun. It's extremely fun. And if you're a GM, you can go ahead and grab this too. This is the GM screen. Now this is full glossy on the outside here. It's the short trifold one, right? But I use this in my solo play. I'm not lying. I just set it up, put it right in front of me, and I gotta go on about my business, you know. Um, but yeah, this one here, pretty nice. Got everything that you need. My preference is one that would go higher, the full 8 by 11, but that's just me being old school right there. I'll take and use whatever I got. But if you are deciding that you want to go all in on Vaesen, uh, I really, did I just do that? You probably can see through that. This is green, so it's it's gonna see through my green screen. Um, but yeah, y'all. Yeah, don't limit yourself. Gone are the days where you have to play a tabletop RPG. We've got systems out there that are fantastic for playing solo. And like I said, this has a solo system. Like Thursday's Child is a solo system that you can play. And also, not for this game, just to keep it freely, not only for this game, but it's the first time I've ever seen it because Thursday's Child is separate from the actual game. But in the Electric State, it's actually in the core book, a solo system that they've actually put in the core book. And it has become that popular. So don't deprive yourself of the love here of this game. Even if you have to go GM-less and play with just one other person. Trust me, you guys are gonna have a ball. Just trust me on this one, y'all. Please. Trust me on this one. You are going to have a ball playing this game. And if you play this game in front of other people, it just may be. Maybe you'll only get one person from your group to play. It's good. That's fine. Or one or two other people, and you guys play this separately from whatever you're playing before, or whatever. If you just have to have somebody there. But I'm telling you, this here, it's a blast playing. It's a blast playing. Period. Whether you play with a group, whether you play solo, whether it's a small group and it's GMless or whatever, this is super fun, super fun. But again, this is a game where you have to use the old noggin. It's kind of an investigative type of solve the mystery, solve the Vaesen, right? And they also have, now you might be able to pick this up on DRIVE-THRU RPG, but there's different different kind of like archetypes that you can download separately, like a couple of bucks, $2, $3 or something like that. That's where I got Akello Balandebu's Witch Hunter. Right, I went on there. I think it was $3 or something like that. Bought it. It's dope. So I like that. But they also have different settings. They have one for the Ukraine. So they have a Vaesen setting for the Ukraine that somebody put together and put up on DriveThru RPG. It's not official, but it's something that they've put together. I personally was thinking about putting one together for the United States because, yes, we do have that stuff here in the United States. And I probably am going to do that in the yeah, and go ahead and make that available for my lead squad. Oh yeah, that's how I do it. I'll make it available for my peeps. All right, so what we got here? Not really. There's a lot of tables involved, and you have a lot more. Let me see. Solo player noob who's never tried it. Does it basically work like a choose your own adventure from the 80s? It does not. It does not. It is an actually it's it's an actually solo adventure, right? You make the decisions, and normally for most solo systems, and I'm going to do a video on this probably in the next couple of months to really tell you how to play solo. But basically, it's there's a couple of things that you're going to need, and watch my video on Tuesday. because I kind of say some of this stuff in that one. But playing solo is really you go through it. Normally, it's answering yes or no questions, and it's pretty much always answering yes or no questions. And if you're playing with a certain system, you use the system. If you're using something like the Mythic Game Master Emulator, second edition, you can use that and just use that by itself without using a game system. But if you want to use a game system, the first thing I would do is use the game system solo system if they have one. So with Vaesen, I'd use the Vaesen solo system. That's what I would use. Um, there also is another one. We were talking about this in the lead squad on the chat server last night. But there is you can go over on Etsy, and it's my guy Elton Fessler, and he has what's called the Fate Mill die, and it's a huge, like 20-sided die. As a matter of fact, let me go grab it for you. So give me 1 second here, and I want to do this just because I want to. All right, so this is what I have. It's a pretty big 20-sided die here. Okay. And you have different phrases on there for yes no questions, right? As you can see that. Hopefully I'm not too close, right? So you can, again, you can go ahead and you can buy this over on Etsy, and you roll this dice, you ask your yes or no question, you roll the dice. And this is what I used in my first video on Attila Balanderu and Vaesen, Suffer Not a Witch. So I've used this before. So again, just wait for, after this live stream, wait for like 10 minutes, and then the link for both of the videos for the Attila Balanderu series will be down in the description. And then you can go, the second one is way shorter. The first one is longer, but I use this. And then the second one, I use the actual system itself that Vaesen has. But playing solo is number one, easy. Again, watch Tuesday's video. I give you six. Again, this is you guys are getting a special here. I give you 6 benefits of playing a tabletop RPG solo. 6 benefits. So make sure you tune into that video next week. It's already up, by the way. And there's a really good possibility that my lead squad people are going to go ahead and get that early, because I think I'm going to make that available early on Monday for my lead squad folks. So if you haven't joined the lead squad, just go ahead. There's a link down in the description below. Click that link, put your name and your email in there, and that's it. You will join the lead squad. You'll get a couple emails from me and a video and stuff. But after that, he's joined the lead squad. And if I send out if I send out an email on Monday, then you'll get that, and you'll get the link to watch the video early. And then it'll officially drop on Tuesday. All right. Any other questions that we have here? It says it's a learning a system if you're planning to play it with a regular group. True. That's true. But there's other benefits as well. Benefits that you probably have never even thought of. That you've never even thought of. I'm going to say you never thought of them, but these are things that, the things that I think about when I'm talking about this stuff. And that's it. Actually, I believe that I have shown you everything that Vaesen has to offer at the moment, besides the kind of uh the custom stuff that they're releasing on um DRIVE-THRU RPG. It's different people releasing different things and stuff like that. I'm talking about the official stuff. So, stuff like these cards, the Vaesen cards, right here, you have Mythic Ireland and Britain. Love this. Dope, man. Dope. Let me go back since I'm going through all this stuff. So basically, you got your first one here, which of course would be the rule book, which comes in at 227 pages, or 227, no, 229. And that's not counting the character sheets at the back. You got your Mythic Ireland and Britain. It's about 100 and something pages here. This is the one I use pretty much all the time. But I have to use the core book for making things up, and you need the core book in order to do some things solo. So if you want to play solo, get the core book. Get that. All right. You may like Mythic Ireland and Britain, but obviously you're going to need the core book to do this stuff. And then you have this campaign and all the rest of these things. This is everything that you can get for Vaesen. Extremely, extremely fun game, y'all. And let me see. I think I'll have to work this one into the budget. This one's fun. If you get into this kind of stuff, again, if you get into this kind of mystery stuff if you get into that, yes, this is fun. This is really fun. And I enjoy this. I enjoy this like tremendously. You just don't even know. You do not know. Um, and now the mysteries, obviously, you're not going to be able to run those solo unless you have the Game Master emulator, Mythic Game Master emulator. Now, the Mythic Game Master emulator, I would say, is the kind of premier agnostic solo or GM-less resource for you for anything, right? I mean, you could use it with Vaesen if you didn't want to use the solo rules for it. I mean, you can use it for anything. It is agnostic. Also, on top of that, you could just play it by itself. Like you play solo and you just don't need a game. You just kind of come up with stuff off the top of the mind. You can play it like that too. I have it, and I'm actually running a DC Heroes from back in the Dizzy. We're talking about second edition. DC Heroes campaign using the Mythic Game Master emulator. So I'm not sure if I will have that on the channel or anything like that. I'm not real sure about that. But again, yeah, it's all of it, y'all. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get off of here. And again, if you like this stuff, links are down in the description. And if you want to possibly get in on an early video, plus there's other stuff that you get as being part of the lead squad. One of them is our new chat server, which I adore right now. The chat server is great. It works fantastic. Um, I love it. So you have the chat server. I've got next month I'm going to do something a little different. Next month I'm going to have a giveaway, and I think that's how I'm going to do the giveaways from now on. I'm going to announce the giveaways on the live stream. See, then that makes it to where I don't have to do separate things. It's just less work. I'll announce it live on the live stream for next month. Also, you get to vote for what the next live stream is going to be if you're part of the lead squad. And right now, like I said, you can go and vote if you haven't already. You can go and vote in the last one. Now, if you join, you're not going to be able to vote. You'll be able to vote on the next ones for the next. Or if I come out with another newsletter, which I probably will, then I'll probably put a link in there to the survey because I want you guys to pick this stuff, right? But I'll give you a hint. There's 4 games that you're going to be able to choose from for this month. One is Blade Runner, the other is Fragged Empire 2, the other is City of Mist, and the other is oh shoot, what's the other one? I'm not sure about the other one. Everyday Heroes. Everyday Heroes. So Everyday Heroes, City of Mist, Fragged Empire 2, or Blade Runner for next month's live stream. And you can vote to see which one you want me to cover being part of the lead squad. Again, down in the description below, put your name and email in, hit that button, and you'll be part of it. And then you'll be able to vote in next month's and this month's too as well. Okay. Well, not this month's, but next month's. That's it, folks. If you don't have any questions, and I'll stick around here to see if you guys have any more questions here when it comes to Vaesen. But it's a pretty simple game, very simple game. You guys played enough tabletop RPGs to where you know this. Um, Again, it's kind of like that supernatural horror, 18th, 19th century time frame. Uh, this is fun, very fun. But that's it, y'all. Now, if you do have questions after I do this live stream and I get off the stream, you can go and just put in the comments of the live stream after it posts because it takes a second for it to post. So wait for it to post, but then after it posts, then go ahead and um, ask the question down in the comments, and then I'll go ahead and I'll hook you up with a answer after that. Well, that's it, y'all. So you guys know it's time for me to do my snag-a-puss. Your boy servant probably gonna get out of here, grab something to eat, and play a little bit of Vaesen. Just a little bit. I gotta scratch an itch right now, so just a little bit. I'm gonna play a little bit of Vaesen, and then I got some other stuff I'm gonna do today. So it's be Saturday, y'all. Peace. 5,000 leaks. Your boy servant. I'm outie.